Our nation's birthday. And what better way to do it than with afternoon baseball? The Tribe hosts the Angels in an Independence Day matinee next. The Indians had a nice early cushion, but the Angels got back into the game with the long ball. Then the Tribe used some aggressive base running and held the Halos and the rain to even this series at a game apiece. Two pitchers in need of a win face off in the finale. Derek Lowe will try to get his first victory in over a month next on Sports Time Ohio. This afternoon as the Indians try to take 2 out of 3 from the Los Angeles Angels. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. Tribe got a win last night. They scrapped and fought and clawed their way back into it and got the win thanks to the gritty and determined play of Jason Kipnis.
Well, Jason Kipnis has been a treat to watch all year long. He can do just about anything he wants on a baseball field. Not only can he hit, and the hit for power for a little guy, but I'm telling you, he can run the bases really well. This is what did it last night for him. The hustle, scoring ahead of them. Another run scores behind him. Not only that, his defense has certainly improved. I mean, he only has 3 errors all year long. And when you look at his numbers, he hits in the clutch. 375 leads the AL. 20 stolen bases. 18 of those have been consecutively. And I'll tell you what, this is one man I would pay to see play.
The fact that he was snubbed by the All-Star team seems to be a burr under his saddle, and it may be perfect for the Indians because I think it's the kind of fuel that will light his fire without a doubt the rest of the season. Take a look at today's Nissan Road Ahead pitching matchup. Two guys desperately seeking a victory.
Well, for Derek Lowe, he does want to come back. He had a rough month of June. That long ball cost him in Baltimore. He had the lead. It was a 3-run home run later in the ball game. But he's given up 7 runs 3 times in the month of June. He's got to get the ball down, but he has pitched well here in this ballpark. Matched up against Irvin Santana. He was 0-6 and had no run support in his first 6 starts. In his last 7 starts, 2-2, a high ERA, but he did have a complete game 1-hit shutout. So, and this guy no-hit the Indians a year ago.
Get to a Nissan dealer for great deals on innovation you can count on. So the Indians trying to win the series today against the Angels, and we've got all the play-by-play action coming up next. Indians. This is their 70th date in the history of the franchise that they've been able to get to play at home on the 4th of July. And the Indians have done a pretty good job over the years on Independence Day. A career mark of 59-41. And yes, that's 100 games, 70 dates. Well, for a lot of years, there were doubleheaders on 4th of July.
Yeah, that's true, too.
Derek Lowe on the hill for the Tribe here this afternoon. Let's take a look at Mike Scioscia's starting nine, brought to you by Kia. Mike Trout in the leadoff spot, followed by Torrey Hunter. Albert Pujols batting third, really heating up in his last 8 games. Kenry Morales batting cleanup, then Mark Trumbo hitless in the series. Alberto Callaspo sixth. Eric Ibar, Maicer Izturis, and Bobby Wilson.
Well, Derek Lowe on the mound with a reminder to go to Indians.com now for the All-Star final vote. And Derek Lowe making start number 17. His season record is 7-6 and a 4.42 earned run average. He has pitched very well in this ballpark. In his 7 starts, he is 4-1. His ERA is 2.64, and he's given up only 1 home run in this ballpark. He did beat the Angels earlier this year. Pitched a beautiful ball game back on April 29th where the Indians won 4-0. He went 7 2/3 and gave up 3 hits.
Well, you just hope that the home field advantage will be the tonic for Derek Lowe that he's looking for. Even though our game time temperature is going to be right around 92 degrees. Watch, shot up a little bit here in the last hour. Derek Lowe, though, going with the sleeves on a blistering hot day.
That might be to keep the sweat off the hand when you're throwing the baseball, I would imagine, because you certainly don't need them today. It's very humid. The thing to watch for today is Lowe's sinker. See if he gets on top of it and he gets ground balls.
Got a ground ball there, but it's by Hanahan on a leadoff single from Mike Trout.
Well, you have to play in with the speed of Trout. And you can see he doesn't hit it all that hard, but he does just get it past Jack Hanahan, who was playing in. It cut off his angle. So Trout will start it off with a single. Derek Lowe on the year. His ERA in the first inning is 7.88, and he has given up half of his home runs in the first, 3 of his 6 homers.
Torrey Hunter looks at a first pitch strike. He's gone just 1 for 8 in the series. But he's up here with the speedy Trout at first base in his first AB. Leans him back 1-1. Jason Kipnis shading him up the middle, so a big hole on the right side for Hunter, who has been known to take the ball to the opposite field, but more times than not when he does that, it's line drive.
Yeah, in the air. Absolutely. When you see the infield crowded over like that, you know he hits most of his ground balls that way, trying to pull. And Lowe, a ground ball pitcher. He leads baseball with, there it is.
Right
Look
to
at that.
Kipnis, perfectly defensed. They get 1 at second. Cabrera still able to turn 2.
How about that?
You couldn't have drawn that up any better. You talk about positioning your guys perfectly on defense.
I mean, that you're right. You just talked about it, and it was right at Kipnis. He had a little problem getting it out of the glove, but it was hit very hard, and they still had time to get Torrey Hunter. So that is ground ball number 18 into double plays for Derek Lowe.
And quickly erases Trout. So with 2 down, Albert Pujols steps in. Pujols homered last night, his 13th home run on the year. And another ball hits off the mound right to Kipnis. And it's an 8-pitch first inning for Derek Lowe. The Indians coming to bat when we come back. Bottom of the first inning. The Indians will come to bat against Irvin Santana of the Angels. And the Tribe starting lineup for Maniacta on this 4th of July brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Proud to be the official auto insurance provider of the Cleveland Indians. Shin-Soo Choo has Dribble Cabrera and Jason Kipnis at the top. Travis Hafner back in the starting lineup off the DL, hitting cleanup. He'll DH. Michael Brantley 5th. Casey Kochman 6th. And Jack Hanahan 7th. Johnny Damon 8th. And Lou Marson getting the start behind the plate, batting 9th.
Well, Irvin Santana on the mound for the Angels. He's 4-8, and you look at those numbers and you think, holy smokes, that's not the kind of guy that does that. But his first 6 starts, they didn't score a run for him when he pitched. He started the year out 0-6.
Shin-Soo Choo takes a strike.
He has not lost on the road since his start here, April 29th in Cleveland.
Missed inside with it.
That's when he and Derek Lowe were matched up, and Lowe won that ball game 4-0.
Choo with a big chopper to first. Pujols will take it himself.
Let's take a look at the Angels Home Depot defense behind Santana. It's Trumbo in left, Trout in center, Hunter is in right. Cayespo at third, Ibar at short, Esturis at second, Pujols at first, Wilson behind the plate. More savings, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Jim Wolf will call the balls and strikes. Mike McClinsky is at first, Jerry Lane at second, Bob Davidson at third, Jerry Lane the crew chief. As Dribble Cabrera, first ball swinging, sends a fly ball to left, and Mark Trumbo will make that catch 2 away. I mentioned to you last night that for the Angels, as well as they've played, they've gotten themselves back into contention. They need either Herron or Santana to really get it going, or they have to make a deal. And based on what happened after the game last night, they may be headed towards making a deal because Dan Herron might be headed to the disabled list. He's going to be evaluated when they get back home. He's been dealing with back pain, and he says, Rick, that it doesn't bother his velocity. But what it has really hurt him with is his ability to really locate and command and throw where he wants to.
He didn't look like the same guy last night, and the Indians roughed him up. They treated him rough early.
He says he hasn't really complained or talked about it much. He's tried to, suck it up and do it for the team, but he said, hey, I'm not helping anybody the way I'm pitching right now. So Mike Scioscia says, hey, doctors are going to look at it. We'll figure it out. And we'll get a plan of attack when they get back home.
Yeah, you look at his career numbers and the innings that he logs every year, 7 consecutive, 215 plus.
He hasn't missed a start since college.
I know it. So I'm saying the guy has been durable, and now maybe that ego is getting in the way where, maybe something is wrong with him. Who knows? They will find out.
Really pitching Kipnis in tight, and it's 2-2. Jason 2 for 7 in the series. Santana with the 2-2. Up and away, full count. Travis Hafner waiting for a chance to bat potentially here in the first. The 3-2 to Kipnis. And he will get a chance as Jason draws a walk. So Hafner, who had arthroscopic knee surgery on the right knee and has been rehabbing at AAA Columbus, says he feels good. He said the knee has responded well since the surgery. He said, really, I've been ahead of schedule the whole way through. Part of the problem was when he was trying to rehab, games kept getting rained out in Columbus and wherever they were traveling. But he says it's time to go. He's ready to get back in there. And he steps into the cleanup spot here this afternoon. And it's ball 1 from Irvin Santana. After 6 homers, 23 runs batted in, 6 doubles on the year. And that'll be a strike to even the count at 1-1. League leaders brought to you by your Cleveland Akron area Lexus dealers. And Jason Kipnis second only to Angels All-Star Mike Trout in stolen bases. Santana delivers, and Hafner rips it foul. He almost took first base coach Tom Wiedenbauer with it. Weed showing
he got down in a hurry, didn't he?
His ability to go low bridge.
He took the elevator all the way down to the bottom. I mean to tell you, look at him. Because you're turned. You're just peeking out of the corner of your eye. And that's a big man hitting that ball right at you. And you've got one way to go, and that's down.
Travis Hafner got off to a great start, hit .295 in the month of April, but dipped to a .197 in May. Missed all of June.
Well, if Kipnis was to go and he gets a read off him now, it could be a time 1-2 count.
He holds and Hafner squibs it foul the other way. You know, the interesting thing when you talk about averages, a 100-point difference in batting average seems like a lot, and it is. But it really was the difference. He had 4 fewer hits in May than he did in April and 10 more at bats.
Well, that is the bottom line. When you look at it, it's almost like a hit a week.
Yep.
You know, when you project it
That's
out
exactly
over the
right.
course of the year, it's a hit a week.
Back foul over toward the Indians' dugout.
I mean, too much is looked at about average. Sure, you love to see averages. You like to see them 280 or higher. You know, I want to see guys that can hit with runners on base. That has been Hafner's problem this year, is he hasn't been able to hit with runners in scoring position. He's been in the middle part of the lineup. He's got to do that. You know, if you don't get base hits with nobody on, that's one thing. But, boy, you have to hit when you get him in scoring position.
Kipnis at first with 2 down and a 1-ball, 2-strike count. And it's in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Angels have that 3-man shift on the right side of the infield for Hafner. Outfield, though, plays him like a right-handed pull hitter. And the 2-2. Toss to first instead.
Well, it's not that he has a good move, but he has to keep Kipnis honest. When a guy starts stealing bases, they pay attention. Especially a guy from Mike Scioscia's team who used to be a catcher, and he knows situations. He's not going to let you just get that walking lead and go.
He holds, and the 2-2 is outside, so a full count. Now he'll get a head start.
There you go. Now he can take off. And that's, you know, that helps. I mean, when you've got a guy on in front of you that can run and possibly steal a base, that takes that little distraction away from the hitter. You know, when he's looking, he's got to hold you on. He's got to change his moves to the plate, to first base, and it could take a little of that concentration away from the hitter.
Runner goes, 3-2 pitch. Fouled first base side. Really taking aim at Tom Wiedenbauer. An 8-pitch at bat for Hafner in his first AB back. Santana ready. The 3-2. Kipnis goes. Fouled away.
Nice catch. Oh, my goodness. First one of the day up into the loges, and he makes a whale of a catch. Nicely done. Look at him. That's right. You're on TV. You make a catch like that, you deserve to have a replay. Nice play. Little reach out.
Hafner again fouls
Look
it.
at Half working him
to the left.
That's his 6th foul ball. This is going to be his, 10th pitch in this at bat? 11th.
That's one way to knock off some of the rust.
Well, you know what? Hey, that is a good way to, when you get that first time in the box when you haven't been there in a while, to see 11 pitches in your first at bat. It's a very good way.
It's been a month for Hafner. Again, the runner goes, the 3-2. Low, ball 4.
Great at bat. Beautiful.
Back-to-back 2-out walks here in the first. Going to bring up Michael Brantley.
Well, that's one thing you also want to do. You make Santana work a little bit in that first inning. Throwing a lot of pitches. Between Kipnis and Hafner, they saw 17 pitches out of the 21. Not too shabby. And here's another guy that's pretty patient as well. You know, the funny thing is, though, Matt, with Brantley, his patience doesn't translate into walks.
Why is that, do you think?
I don't know. I don't know if they pitch around him. It could be where he's sitting in the lineup. They've been more aggressive. They don't want to walk him. I don't think he goes outside the strike zone a whole lot to put the ball in play.
No,
but,
I would agree with that.
You know,
you
but
don't see him swing at bad balls.
No, you don't. Rarely do you see him take a bad swing. He just doesn't walk a lot.
But you would expect with the eye that he has, he'd have a better on-base percentage than just 325.
Right. That's why that leadoff spot didn't, pan out for him. Only 21 walks.
Drilled deep right field. Oh, it's gone. It just did clear the wall, and it's out of here. Michael Brantley, a 2-out, 3-run homer in the first. Why walk when you can jog? Brantley's second home run of the year just barely cleared the wall into the Angels bullpen. And back-to-back 2-out walks kill Santana here in the first. Brantley really making him pay for it.
Well, they made him work very hard, and Brantley took care of it. He cleaned it up. This has been a problem for Santana. It was a slider. And the long ball, that's number 20 he's given up on the year. And, that hurt him early, and it hurts him early in this game. So the Indians will take a 3-0 lead. Brantley just his second home run.
Well, that's got this 4th of July crowd revved up now. Casey Kochman takes a look at a ball down low, 1-1. The walk's such an important part of this offense. And Brantley, while we mentioned he doesn't walk much, he has hit, and he has hit in the clutch extremely well all season long.
Love the 2-out runs. And they never really, he got the first 2 guys out on 4 pitches.
The 3-1 pitch. And a strike called. The funny thing about that, too, Brantley hitting that home run, Hafner told me before the game, he said, look, I've already gone to Michael Brantley and told him, don't expect me to score from first on a double to the outfield. So if you want me to get home, and what does he do? He hits one out of here and don't have to worry about it.
That's the way you want to do it.
The 3-2. Ball 4. Third walk of the inning for Santana. It's going to bring out Mike Butcher, the Angels pitching coach, and we take a look at our stat of the game brought to you by your Northern Ohio GMC dealers. It's funny, Rick. They went to Houston, didn't score a lick. They went to New York, first couple of games struggled. They started to break out of it offensively, even though they didn't win a game in New York. And they've started to put it together. And it's weird how it just goes from zip to full throttle.
I'll tell you, they started walking more. They started putting some better at-bats late in the game against the Yankees, when they scored in the 8th and 9th inning. And then what happened, they went to Baltimore and they started hitting some long balls. Some doubles, the extra base hits were coming, as well as putting together quality at-bats. Today, they don't get a base hit until Brantley's home run. The walk has been a really big part of their offense this year, and they are back in the lead. They lead the league in walks. They now have 293 as a team.
A 30-pitch first inning for Irvin Santana and Jack Hanahan. takes a strike. Well, the home run ball has been a problem for Santana this year. Of his 20 home runs allowed, that's the 5th 3-run dinger he's given up.
Wow, see, those hurt you. Those hurt.
Myceres Torres throws out Jack Hanahan to end the inning. But Michael Brantley with a 2-out, 3-run blast on the 4th of July has the Indians on top 3-0. Brought to you by McDonald's Cherry Berry Chiller. Cherry and raspberry flavors blended with ice and 100% fruit juice. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by your Northern Ohio Toyota dealers. Second inning, Derek Lowe misses down low, ball 1 to Kendry Morales. Morales hits a topper and he beats the shift.
Yes, he does. It's the second time he's done that in his first at-bat. Did it in game 1 as well. Let's take a look at the Indians' defense, brought to you by Pat O'Brien Chevrolet, with 4 convenient locations and the best selection of Chevrolets in Northeast Ohio. Damon in left, Brantley center, Chu in right. Hanahan at third, Cabrera at short, Kipnis second, Kochman at first, Marson behind the plate.
Mark Trumbo, 0 for 7 in the series. Pops one in the air, foul ground. Kochman over near the railing, can't get to it. You can't give up on Kochman because he'll dive into the seats. We've seen him do that this year. He'll go head first if he feels he's got a shot at making the catch. That time, though, a little bit too far beyond his reach. That's hit in the left field. Damon will return it to the infield, and back-to-back singles for the Angels here in the second inning. Third hit for the Halos.
Well, Trumbo's a pretty good low ball hitter, but this one, you see the movement on that ball. He started it out. It didn't quite go inside where he wanted it to. And hit that line drive.
Now Alberto Callaspo, 3 for 7 in the series. And he takes a strike.
You know, Derek Lowe is used to pitching out of the stretch. He's allowed 122 hits now. James Shields of Tampa leads the league with 125.
Well, Derek Lowe with 2 on, nobody out. He's got Caiaspo, then Eric Ibar. 2 little guys that really do a good job of putting the ball in play, and they both run well.
Well, no, he'll still take his chance. He wants to see it on the ground, but he wants it right at one of his players. He'd like to see the 4-6-3 here. Caiaspo has only grounded into 2 double plays.
A little bit outside. Morales at second, Trumbo at first. And Caiaspo lays off a close pitch, full count. Now the payoff pitch, runners go. And a ground ball to Kipnis. He goes to second. They don't get him there, and they don't get him there either.
Oh, boy, that's great hustle there by Trumbo. He really did a nice job.
Manny Acta's going to come out and argue the play at second base, in which Jerry Lane called Trumbo safe.
I'll tell you, it was awfully close. Hard to tell from our angle. Kipnis got the ball. They felt they had him. But Trumbo did a good job. He got down there in a hurry for a big man. Let's check it out. See, they were off and running on the pitch. That's why it was so close. On the 3-2 count, Socia starts him. Let's see. Boy, oh boy, it's awfully close. You can see where Jerry Lane's on the inside part of the field. By the time that Cabrera's foot maybe came down the backside of that bag, I think Trumbo's foot might have been there. And then you can see Caiaspo was safe. He started the runners on a 3-2 count, and the fielder's choice. Good hustle by Trumbo.
So now the bases are loaded with nobody out. And Eric Ibar takes a look at ball 1 down low. Slow chopper over toward the Angels dugout.
You know, keep your eye on Cabrera's feet. See if he ever touches the base here. The left one steps past it. The right one, from this angle, it's hard to tell. It looks like he's trying to scrape it to get there.
Looked like by the time he kicked it with his right foot, Trumbo was already there.
Yeah, I mean, that was a tough angle with the base there, but...
Just missed inside. Derek Lowe wanted that pitch. He's looking in at Jim Wolf.
Well, that's a pitch there that if it goes your way, you have him down in the count. Instead, he's got a hitter's count 2-1, and it came back on him.
Well, you can see why he wanted that call. That's right there. Okay, here's the 2-1. And now the Angels are sitting pretty. The pitch. Ripped foul. Full count. Eric Ibar, 4 out of 8 in this series with a double. And he's up here with the bases loaded, nobody out in the second inning, with the Tribe leading it 3-0.
He'd gladly trade a double play ball to let him have a run here.
Ibar's only walked a dozen times. And he swings and fouls it away.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. He's not up there to walk. They've only walked 216 times as a team. That's 13th in the league. Only one other team has walked fewer times. These guys come up there and they swing the bat. And they are constantly, it seems like, in motion.
The 3-2. Got him looking. Froze him for out number one. And Ibar knew it.
Yeah, I don't know what he was looking for there because I think he got a breaking ball to pitch before. But now this one comes up and he gets another one right there. He didn't give him the sinker away. He didn't expect that pitch to come in. He was looking for that sinker down and away, and he got the breaking ball. So the first big out right there where no runners can advance.
Myceres Torres chops one to second. Kipnis gets one there. Cabrera's return throw not in time, and the Angels get on the board.
That's what's so tough about these little guys. They hit the ball and they just take off. They're like little rabbits. So they get on the board, but you get the second out, and it has to be hit just a little bit harder. That second hop, Kipnis had to wait back before he could give Cabrera the feed, and by the time they get it across, he beats it out.
So first and third with two down now, and Bobby Wilson coming up.
Well, if he can minimize the damage and keep it to one run here, that'd be a great job.
Wilson played in the series opener, sat out last night's game, 1 for 4. Missed outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Lowe trying to find his toe hold. Now he's ready. Two and one the count. Runner at first breaks. It's a called strike. And a steal for his Torres, his 11th. Now two in scoring position for Wilson with 2 down. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Chop to third. Hanahan backing
Fair
up.
ball.
Long throw. Got him. A beautiful throw by Hanahan. A one-hopper, and Kochman snares it to end the inning. The Angels get on the board, but they strand a pair. 3-1 Cleveland, middle of the second. Here at the ball yard on this 4th of July, game time temperature of 92 degrees with the humidity feels close to 100. And the Indians getting a 3-run homer from Michael Brantley in the first to stake themselves to the early lead. They lead at 3-1. Bottom of the second, Johnny Damon will lead it off. Down and in. Looks at a ball outside. 2-1 to count.
Well, it was a 32 first pitch inning for Santana, and they are going to make him work and get in the strike zone. Out of his 95 hits, Matt, 40 of them have been extra base hits he has allowed. The 20 home runs, 18 doubles, and a couple of triples. So, you know, the extra base hits have hurt him a little bit. And then he just got off to a slow start this year because they had no run support for him. He was pitching on the wrong day.
Damon broke his bat, bloops it in. And a base hit for the venerable left fielder to lead off inning number 2. I don't know. I don't know how to take that statistic. You know, because if you're a pitcher and you're giving up fewer hits than innings pitched, that's generally a very good sign.
Yeah, it is.
But when the proportion of your hits is such that it is with him, where you're talking almost 50% of his hits have gone for extra bases.
Right, and 20 of them have been home runs. But you said the 3-run home runs; those are the bad ones to give up. It's not solo shots. If you give up 20 home runs. If, let's say, 16 are solo shots, you're okay, and a couple of 2-runners. But would you say 5 now, 3?
Yep.
That's not good. Those are big innings. And when your team's not scoring a lot of runs, or at least on the days when he is pitched, that's not a good combination.
Well, let's see. For Santana, 37 of his 60 runs allowed have come because of the home run. So it's almost as if, as good a pitcher as he is, he's prone to just making fat mistakes in the middle of the plate.
Yeah, making them at the wrong time. He has good stuff. You know he's a good pitcher. He's 1-7 in his career against the Indians. That one win came last year at July 27th. It was a no-hitter here. And he also has a one-hitter this year against the D-backs. Only he and Nolan Ryan.
Second broken bat of the inning, second hit for the Indians.
Oh, look at the table setters. Marson continues. He hasn't played since the Heat. I guess Marson's a designated 100-degree guy for the Indians. You know, we go back to last year. This was part of that no-hitter here that ended the year in Cleveland. Look at him. The first time he ever beat the Indians in his life. And I remember his very first start against the Indians. They hit for the cycle in the first 4 guys, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they roughed him up. So that had to be a great day for him just to beat the Indians, let alone a no-hitter.
2 on, nobody out. And Shin-Soo Choo looks at ball 1 up high. By the way, you're talking about the table setters. Lou Marson has now hit in 6 straight games, 10 hits in his last 20 at-bats.
Yeah. We're going to call him Mr. Heat.
Heat miser.
He caught all 4 of those games in the Baltimore 100-degree heat when we were there over the weekend.
2-0 to Choo, and Santana is having a rough day.
Well, when you've got Herron and Santana going back-to-back, that makes it tough because C.J. Wilson has been lights out for him this year. He's been like Weaver has.
Yeah.
You know, so
now those 2 guys have been dominant.
You got to continue to hurt him while you can, while he's not making quality pitches.
He's outside with it 3-0.
And the Indians are getting in some really good hitters' counts.
Shin-Soo Choo probably taken here.
And looks at a strike.
Yeah, the first time through the lineup, out of the first 9 guys, 6 of them have reached base.
He won't be spotting him. Another pitch. The 3-1. Hit fair down the right field line. Coming around third, Johnny Damon will score. Marson on his way to third. He'll be held there. It's an RBI double for Shin-Soo Choo. And 3 straight hits to open the second inning for the Tribe. They now lead it 4-1.
Well, you said he won't be spotting him another one. He didn't, because 3-1 count, you're going to cheat a little bit early. You're going to look for the fastball. He got it and turned on it and hit it right down the first baseline. You can see it, 92 sinker. You can't be too fine with it. So he's got to get a good piece of the plate, and Choo is ready. This is going to be our McDonald's. I'm loving it. 3-1 count. Runners on first and second, and the first 3 guys reach base here in the second inning, and now they're starting. Second and third, and nobody out.
Now as Dribble Cabrera shoots one back out of play. Cabrera fly to left his first time up. He tried to hold up, but Jim Wolf says he went around, and it's 0-2.
Right now, as Dribble a little too anxious when he gets runners in scoring position. He's been a little aggressive, swinging a lot of early counts when he has runners in scoring position. Did it last night with a man on third base. He didn't get him in on the ground ball, and he was looking back behind to see if he was scoring.
Cabrera 0 for 10 in the series, as Santana has already hit the 50 pitch mark, and we are in the second inning with nobody out.
Yeah, that doesn't bode well in this kind of weather. This could be an early day for that bullpen. And the Angels are heading home after today's game.
2-strike offering. Santana with a ground ball to first. Pujols bobbles it. He wanted to come home. He'll take the out at first, but the Indians pick up another run, and they now lead it 5-1. You could see Pujols. He wanted to pull it out and try to come home, but then he just flat dropped it.
Well, he knew Marson was on third. He wanted to, and he got a little too quick with it. Dropped the ball, but he still gets the out. But the Indians score that run, and not only was it a good out, it moves Choo from second to third and gives him another opportunity from 90 feet away in less than 2 outs.
Infield in for Jason Kipnis, and the pitch is outside, ball 1.
Well, the first time up, he tried to run everything inside to Jason. See what he does here with that man on third base.
Misses again, 2-0.
Yeah, he cannot command his fastball. He is having problems. 30 strikes, 23 balls.
That double for Choo, by the way, gives him 26. Now tied for the league lead with Ian Kinsler of Texas.
Well, Choo is right up there, too. We got to get him in here.
Right back through the middle. Kipnis an RBI single. 6-1 Indians. They continue to take aim against Irvin Santana. Kipnis just powered it right back up the middle.
Makes it so much easier with that infield end. And Choo is climbing up the run scored ladder as well since he's been in that leadoff spot. Watch Kipnis, a nice short swing. Takes it right back up the middle under the feet of Santana. The 2 boys up the middle couldn't reach it. Choo can cruise home. Hits the mound and took a nice big hop. So Kipnis 1 for 1, his 49th RBI.
Pitching coach Mike Butcher, his second trip to the mound today. And we're in the second inning.
Yeah, that'll happen when you have 2 3-run innings out of the chute.
Well, while they talk it over there, let's talk to Katie Witham, see what she's got cooking today.
Well, Matt, you know, the Tampa Bay Rays come into town tomorrow night, and we're also going to have Dollar Dog Night out here at Progressive Field. $1 hot dogs courtesy of Sugardale. If you need tickets, you can still get them online now at Indians.com.
All right, thanks, Katie. Yeah, Tampa Bay coming to town tomorrow. They're 43-38 on the year, 5.5 off the pace in the AL East. We know they can pitch.
They definitely can pitch. They're winning today 1-0. That's Price going.
Hisanori Takahashi, who we saw in last night's game, warming up.
Well, the Indians hitting in the clutch today. 3 for 4 with runners in scoring position.
Travis Hafner had a terrific first at bat in which he wound up walking. It was, 11 pitches?
Yeah. And he fouled off 6 of them. I mean, to stay up there. And, that was good because you say, okay, all right, he didn't get a hit. But he got a walk and he kept the inning going. And it was a great at-bat because Brantley hit the 3-run homer.
Kipnis looked like he was leaning, maybe itching to go, and he draws a throw. Santana steps off.
Yeah, he is not in rhythm today.
The right-hander ready, the 1-0. And that's way up high with the fastball. 2 balls, no strikes. Tigers are in action at home tonight against the Minnesota Twins, as are the White Sox. They host the Rangers. Boy, they absolutely throttled Roy Oswalt in Texas last night.
They have 21 hits. We'll see if they have anything left in the tank. They may be tired today.
Again, Kipnis looked like he might have been going, and Santana fired one in the dirt.
He's totally out of whack up there. He's only been ahead of 4 hitters. He has been struggling. He's throwing to first base. He looks very uncomfortable out on the mound today. You know, pitchers sometimes when they get locked in tunnel vision and they get in their rhythm, you see that they don't worry about anything. They just stay zoned in. He is not there today.
Well, so often the case, if a guy struggles early, you better get him early and not allow him to settle in.
Well, they've done it.
3 in the first, 3 in the second for the Indians, who lead it 6-1, looking for more. Still only 1 out in the inning. Kipnis held by Pujols at first. 3 on the right side with that shift for Hafner. It's like he doesn't want to throw it over home plate.
You're right.
He'd rather throw it to first.
He's waiting for that guy to get ready in the bullpen.
Hafner with a line drive, base hit into right field. Kipnis will stop at second. And the Indians just continue to hammer away at Irvin Santana. Hafner has walked and singled in his first 2 trips.
Yeah, it won't be long.
Mike Scioscia, I think, is ready to go.
He's going to go talk to him. He's got to get him out of there because he is doing them no justice. The earlier he can get him out of there, he knows it's going to take its toll on its bullpen today. But if you fall any farther behind at this point in the game, the Angels still have time in this ball game at 6-1 with their offense and the way they can hit the long ball. But he's just going to wait for that phone call and say, if he's ready, Santana's gone. It'll be an early exit, and here he comes. It was not his afternoon, and again, he had struggled against the Indians.
1-7 in his career, and no better today for Irvin Santana.
Shortest start of the year. 1 1/3.
Yeah, an inning and a third, and bombed out of here on back-to-back hits in the second inning. So Santana, an early exit. The Tribe on top, 6-1. on, still only one out, and it's already time for our highlight reel, brought to you by your Northeast Ohio Ford dealers. Michael Brantley's second home run of the year, both 3-run dingers. Shin-Soo Choo doubling down into the right field corner. His 26th double, tied for the league lead. And then an RBI single up the middle by Jason Kipnis. 6-1 Indians here in the second inning.
Well, that'll boy Michael take advantage of those homers, huh? 6 ribbies on 2 swings.
Well, that gives him 40 RBIs on the year.
I know it does. Think about it. He started the year leading off. He has 40 on the year. That is impressive. Takahashi coming on for the 28th time. He appeared in last night's ball game for an inning and 2/3, so that bullpen's going to have to suck up some innings today. He walked 1, struck out 2, didn't allow a hit. Well, a bad afternoon there. Shortest outing of the year, as we told you. 6 hits, 6 runs, 3 walks, and he didn't have a strikeout. I think he'd rather not pitch here. He's going to have a long plane ride home.
You know, every time a starting pitcher, we see a game where a guy has an outing like this, where they're knocked out before they can even work up a sweat, all I can think is the guy sits there and says, I waited 4 days for this.
Well, that's their thing, because on their day, they know they have to go out and do their job, but when they do it like he did today, they're very upset. And, you know, he had his shortest start of the season, his last start, before coming into this one in Toronto. So it's getting worse for him.
The Indians had knocked 3 other starters out this year after 2 1/3 innings. This is the shortest now on the year by an opposing starter against this Indians lineup. And the 1-0 pitch now to Brantley with 2 on and 1 out. Just did catch the outside corner. And again, this goes back to what we talked about briefly earlier with the Angels, and we mentioned it yesterday. For them to make a serious run at Texas, they need help in that rotation. And Santana,
either that or straighten some people out. You're right.
Yeah, either Herron's got to get healthy or Santana's got to get back to basics somehow. Michael pulls off the ball, grounds it to Pujols, so will go to second to get the force there. And there are 2 down in the inning. Kipnis to third, Brantley at first on the fielder's choice. And we'll take a look at our trivia question today, brought to you by AT&T. The first Major League player to enlist for military service following the attack on Pearl Harbor. Every Indians fan really should know this, don't you think? I mean,
I would think so.
This should be
absolutely. If you're an Indians fan or you live around, yes, absolutely right.
Casey Kochman, who walked his first time up. And it's outside. Ball 1. Tom Brokaw, I believe, wrote a book called The Greatest Generation about the guys at World War II and the guys who fought. And the answer to our trivia question, that could be said about him. I mean, he was the poster child maybe for that greatest generation. A little bit outside. 2 balls, no strikes.
When you look at the Indians in rubber games of the series, they have lost 5 of their last 6, which is a big deal. They've lost 5 of their last 6, and they played worse at home. They're 2-5 this year in rubber games. This is a good start to one today.
Oh, and the start just keeps getting better. Casey Kochman sends it out of here for the Indians' second 3-run homer of the game. Kochman's 7th dinger on the year. And it's a 9-1 Indians lead.
Wow. I mean, we are in the second inning, pal. That's already 7 hits and 9 runs. And I mean, he got back, he waited on that ball. It almost looked like it hit the top of the fence, but it gets just over into their bullpen.
Wow.
Second 3-run homer by the left-handers. Way to go.
Look at the guys getting out of the way.
Well, they thought it was going to hit the fence or get over him. It didn't. It right in there. Perfect trajectory.
The 9th man to bat in the inning is Jack Hanahan, and he takes a strike. So 8 runs charged to Irvin Santana today in his inning and a third.
Boy, the fireworks are going off early today, aren't they?
Hanahan takes a strike, and it's 1-2. Now the 1-2 to Hanahan. Swung on and missed. First strikeout of the game. It ends the second inning, but the Indians end the day for Irvin Santana and treat his replacement just the same. As you enjoy a cold one, stay tuned later in the game for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. (9-1) Indians. Boy, these fans today came out and were treated to a barrage of offense right out of the gate from the Tribe. A 3-run homer in the first by Michael Brantley, 3-run homer in the second by Casey Kochman.
Yeah, after they scored 3 in the first, they come right out. They had bases loaded, nobody out, could only get the 1. But boy, I'll tell you, it turned in a hurry.
Derek Lowe has to pinch himself out there today. Any pitcher, you get 9 runs and it's only the third inning, you got to be wondering, am I in the right place?
Just keep living that dream, big boy, and get outs. That's what you need. Yeah, Santana wants to forget about it, and Lowe says, let's go. I want to finish it. And this is just what Lowe needs. A little home cooking here. He's pitched very well, as we told you earlier. 4-1 in this park, 3-5 on the road with an ERA right around 6. And it's been a month since Derek has won a ball game.
Left field, on the move. Johnny Damon runs it down in the gap for out number 1. Let's check in with Katie Witham, who has more on Derek Lowe and his start today.
Yeah, guys, I spoke with Derek Lowe yesterday. He told me this season his arm angle is much lower, and that's making it harder for him to get on top of the ball, which, as you know, will affect the way his sinker looks out there. Now, he told me they've really tried to slow down his delivery, giving his arm more time to kind of get up in that right spot. But for a pitcher who works probably faster than any in the majors, that's been hard for him to do.
Yeah, Derek Lowe, like so many pitchers, you want to work fast. You want your defense to be on their toes, so you want to work with that rhythm. But sometimes you can get going a little too fast for your own mechanics.
Everybody rushes. They want to get things over and done with before.
Nice play by Hanahan. Has to avoid stepping on the bag and then fires it over for out number 2. As a hitter, Rick, can you tell when a guy's rushing? I mean,
well, yeah.
Can you tell the difference between, good tempo and a guy who's rushing?
Well, yeah, a guy in a good tempo, as a hitter, you want to step out, because he's on his game and he has the ball and he's ready to throw it at any time. When he's rushing, he's missing the strike zone. There's no reason to step out. You want to stay right there, keep coming. You're getting into good hitters' counts. There's a difference. I mean, it can be a fine line.
Albert Pujols grounded to second his first time up.
I think anytime you're struggling, and it doesn't matter what position you're playing, you try and do things a little quicker. You want to get it out over with. You want to do it. You want to get it done the right way. And sometimes you're trying too hard instead of just relaxing and let things take care of itself. Be the person you are. Take a deep breath. Slow everything down a little bit. And I think that's what he's trying to do to keep everything simple. The arm angle, keeping the hand behind the ball, that's his mechanics he's got to figure out.
3-1 to Pujols. Grounded to third by Hanahan and down the line. Pujols will take a turn. He'll go for 2. Damon's throw on the money, and they got him. How about Johnny Damon with a strike to second base to erase Albert Pujols? And in the top of the third, 9-1 Cleveland. Nine-1 Indians, bottom of the third. Johnny Damon, Lou Marson, Shin Soo Choo coming up for the Tribe. Isanori Takahashi came on in the second inning in relief. He'll stay on to work the third. Now, again, he pitched in yesterday's ball game, so I don't know how long Mike Scioscia will count on him for long relief. An inning and 2/3 yesterday.
Yeah, he'll count on him for a few innings and then get him out of there, and he'll try and split it up, I'm sure. But Damon coming up with a nice throw. to second base there to get Pujols at second. And talking over the inning when he's coming in from left field to grab a ball and having to turn and throw to second, I think you see a little more on his throw because he has to turn that shoulder in and point it directly where he's throwing.
Mechanically, you just get a little bit lazy when you're just throwing from left field, say, straight to home or to third base?
No, I think your shoulder opens up a little quicker, and you're trying to throw it too hard, and you just don't get anything on it. Instead of staying close. Watch as his angle's coming into the baseball. Now he's got to stop, plant, and you see how he closed up before he got rid of it? That's what he has to do coming in from left field. A lot of times he'll open it up so fast that he'll get nothing, and his arm drags. I mean, he doesn't have the greatest arm in the world anyway, but at least he could be, maybe a little bit better, concentrate on keeping that front shoulder closed.
And folks, understand, we recognize that Johnny didn't play but a handful of games in the outfield last year with Tampa. So he's been a trooper as far as going out there and playing as much as he has in the outfield at his age, at this point in his career, when a year ago he was basically a DH.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He takes the glove and he goes out there anyway.
One out for Lou Marson. Singled and scored his first time up. There you see the numbers for Lou during his 6-game tear. I always talk about how baseball, it's a long season. You don't get caught up in what's going on early, and you got to pace yourself. Lou Marson was hitting $111 in April. Of course, he only had 9 at-bats. And in May, he only hit 160. He went 4 for 25. In June, he got more playing time, and he hit 383 in the month of June. And so he's turned his whole season around as far as just feeling better about himself when he goes up to bat.
Well, I'll tell you one thing he does. I like the way he calls a ball game. He struggled earlier this year when he wasn't catching because you're not playing. It's not easy to sit on the bench and play.
Takes a call, third strike. 2 down here in the third, and we'll send it back to the Hyundai Studios for an in-game update with Al Pawlowski.
Hey, Matt. Hey, Rick. The Rays trying to reel in the Yankees in the American League East, and they have just 1 run today, but so far it's all they've needed. Sean Rodriguez, an RBI single. The reason, David Price has a 2-hit shutout going through 6 innings at the Trop. 1-0 Tampa, bottom of the 6th. Matt?
All right, thanks, Al. Here is Shin-Soo Choo, an RBI double his last time up. Fouls it out of play. The 9 runs in their first 2 innings. Tom Boshenik tells us the Indians' best start to a game this year. They had a 7-run first inning in Kansas City, April 13th.
That was their home opener, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was against Hoshaver. Yeah, beat him up. Chu lines it to Pujols, who caught that maybe out of self-defense more than anything else. Indians go 1-2-3. We go to the 4th, 9-1 Tribe. You go to the top of the fourth. Candy Morales, Mark Trumbo, Alberto Calespo due up for the Halos. And Derek Lowe with the first pitch, strike.
Not this time.
He was trying to beat that shift again. Hanahan will throw him out.
He got inside on the kitchen, so.
Let's have a look at our minor league report this afternoon. Brought to you by University Hospitals. Tyler Naquin, the Indians' top pick. 1 for 4 with a go-ahead 2-out, 2-run triple in the 8th. Boy, this young man has jumped in with both feet, and he is making the most of his first opportunity in pro ball.
Why not?
Mark Trumbo, a base hit his first time up, and he's got another one right there. Solid line drive single. Trumbo was 0 for his first 7 in the series, but 2 for 2 today. One on, one out. Alberto Calespo coming up here. And Low with the first pitch, strike.
In the first 2 innings, the Indians saw 68 pitches. They only had 2 swings and misses. So you talk about being locked in and on everything thrown to them.
Quite a departure from the series opener against Jared Weaver. But that's a great example of why the adage in baseball forever has been momentum carries you as far as your next day's starting pitcher. Because Jared Weaver was great in the series opener, and you could say the Angels had all the momentum, but if your next day's starting pitcher doesn't continue that, then everything you did in the first game is out the window.
Well, that's true. As long as they keep you in the ball game, you'll have a chance. And they came back in yesterday's game, the Angels did, after a 4-0 lead. I mean, this game, it's 9-1. It looks ugly, but you continue to have to get outs. These guys are going to continue to hit because they don't want to stand out in that hot sun all day. They're going to say, let the Indians do it for a while. Try and get on the board.
Eric Ibar called out on strikes his first time up. Chops one foul.
Send along some birthday wishes. Hollis Hall of Boardman is turning 80 years old. Ron Smith from Zanesville, 77. Sarah Shefshinsky of Toledo is 67. Troy Williams Spikes of Findlay, 42. Happy birthday.
Popped him up. Cabrera, the shortstop, has it, 2 down.
Well, say with the KeyBank Grand Slam 4-pack, it's a terrific value for any family. You'll get 4 seats in the mezzanine level right next to the kids' clubhouse. 4 hot dogs, 4 Pepsi products, 4 Indians caps, and a parking pass, all for $96. Log on to Indians.com for the tickets.
Maicer Isturez, an RBI, his first time up, accounting for the Angels' only run when he bounced into a fielder's choice. A little bit too high, 2-0.
Last birthday, Bob Wodick of Lodi is 59, so happy birthday to everyone on their 4th of July. How about that, celebrating the Independence Day on your birthday.
Two on, 2 out, 2-1 pitch. And that one off his leg right back to Low.
I want to see where this ball hit him. It looked like it hit him high. It did. Off the front leg, just underneath the knee. Ouch.
Bloop to shallow left. Hanahan out. over his shoulder, makes the running catch to end the inning. Angels strand a pair. We go to the bottom of the fourth, 9-1 Cleveland. Slider enjoying the Independence Day festivities this afternoon here at the Ball Yard. And the crowd here enjoying a 9-1 Indians advantage. Back to the bullpen for the Angels. LaTroy Hawkins coming on for the 21st appearance of the year.
He also pitched an inning in last night's game. A couple of hits and a run he gave up. He'll be facing Cabrera, Kipnis, and Hafner. The veteran, the old guy's getting the work in today. You mentioned Takahashi. He is 37 years old. Hawkins, 39.
Cabrera has his first hit in the series. He was 0 for 11, but he takes the opposite field single to start the bottom of the fourth inning. Our great clip of the game from last night. Jason Kipnis storming home from third on that ground ball to first. And then Jose Lopez coming home and kicking one out of the glove at Takahashi. Great clips. It's going to be great. Jason looks at a fastball for a strike. Grounded foul. You were mentioning this to me before the ball game. In almost the exact same number of at-bats, Jason Kipnis' batting average is almost 100 points lower at home than it is on the road.
Yeah, I had a tough time believing that. I mean, he got off to such a good start on the road, but he still seems to have a little impact when he's here. But, you know, what's he at, 229 coming into today?
Yeah, and 321 on the road. But the difference there, you know, we talked earlier about statistically the difference between
right.
Well, some guys, that's a difference of 15 hits for Kipnis. 15 more hits on the road than at home coming into today. I don't think there's anything scientific to it other than might be just one of those years as that falls foul. And then you get off to a slow start, and then, you know, maybe you're pressing when you're at home.
Everybody here on this team started off slowly at home offensively. I mean, when you look at it, I think there was only one hitter, maybe two, through the first 20 games or so that had better numbers at home than on the road.
I think Chu and Cabrera were about the only ones that seemed to be immune.
Yep. I mean, Cabrera's been pretty consistent all year from each side and from home road.
The 1-2 to Kipnis. And that's fouled back. Michael Brantley's 3-run homer in the first got the Indians off and running today. And then Chu and Kipnis both had RBI hits in the second. And Casey Kochman with another 3-run homer. 9-1 Cleveland. Fastball swung on and missed. Might have got him to chase one there. One down here in the fourth as Travis Hafner will be coming up. Browns 1-on-1 returns tomorrow when Jim Donovan sits down with Browns quarterback Brandon Whedon. Talk to the rookie quarterback about the adjustments he'll have to make to the pro game. It's tomorrow night at 6 right here on STO. Travis Hafner with a walk and a run scored. He is also singled. Hawkins deals, and that fastball is hit deep but foul. Hafner's had 2 good at-bats and his first offensive action since coming off the disabled list here today. And the 1-1. Missed inside with it. 2 balls and a strike. Cabrera at first, held there by Pujols. And the 2-1 pitch. Taken for a strike to even the count. Hafner was very anxious to get back into the lineup today. He recognized that, hey, team's starting to play better right now, winning 4 of its last 6. Feels like he can step in and contribute. And as Manny Acta told me the other day, they need someone to step into that 4-hole and just kind of solidify it for them, whether it's Hafner or whoever.
Manny might sleep a little better tonight because, he's had to put Lopez in there, Brantley in there, and, Santana, he had to leave in there for a while, but they haven't had a legitimate number 4 hitter. Now, with Hafner back, for him to be legitimate, he's going to have to drive in runs. And it's that simple. He's going to have to, to stretch that lineup up, be the go-to guy. He's the veteran in this lineup. Brantley's done a nice job in the middle part. He got hit his 40th RBI today. And you don't consider Michael an RBI guy, but he's just a good hitter.
The 2-2. Popped him straight up. Pujols, the first baseman, makes the catch. And that's out number 2. That'll bring up Michael Brantley, who clobbered that 3-run homer in the first inning. And, you know, we talk a lot about baseball and how there are elements of the game. It's a team game at times. And, you know, to your point about Hafner in the 4-hole, his at-bat, all it produced on paper was a walk. But 11 pitches, 6 foul balls, the toll that it might have taken, and then Brantley hits the 3-run homer, the next guy up.
That's when it paid dividends.
And that's an example of what we talk about, lengthening your lineup, giving your one more guy in your lineup that can do some damage.
Well, you know that was an off-speed pitch because he speeds up the bat of Michael right there. That was one of the 2 3-run homers the Indians hit this afternoon. And the very first one, and a big one with 2 outs. They both were with 2 outs, matter of fact.
Runner at first with 2 down. And a 1-1 count now for Brantley. A little bit low with it. 2-1. Here's LaTroy Hawkins at 39 years old, and he's still able to rush it up there anywhere from 93 to 95 miles an hour.
He has had a good arm his whole life, his whole career. He's been around. You know, usually you see the left-handers that play forever. You don't see a lot of the right-handers that go around, but this guy has because his arm, like you said last night, he's got a rubber arm.
I don't remember how long, but it seemed like Jeff Nelson pitched a long time, too. You know, for a right-hander.
Yeah, from up in Seattle and New York. Not as long as this guy.
Hawkins ready now with a 3-1. Brantley with a ground ball to short. The inning is over, and we go to the 5th, 9-1 Tribe. By Panini, with 17 locations in Northeast Ohio. By Levin's, home of the Sealy Posturepedic mattress made right here in Northeast Ohio. And by KiaCleveland.com. Indians on top 9-1 as we move to the 5th inning, and Bobby Wilson leads off. Grounded to third, his first time up. Wilson rips it down the left field line, but foul. No balls, 2 strikes. Tigers and White Sox will play later tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern time start. Tigers hosting Minnesota, White Sox hosting the Rangers. That's outside of 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yankees and Tampa Bay tied at 1 in the 7th. Boston, Oakland tied at 1 in the 6th. Baltimore blanking Seattle 4-0. They're also in the 6th. That's outside, 2-2. Early games in the National League. Boy, the Washington Nationals refused to go away. They beat up San Francisco 9-4 in a battle of division leaders. 47 wins for Washington.
Yeah, that is amazing. They have a tough time scoring, but they sure haven't against a good pitching staff, did they?
Pittsburgh beat Houston 6-4. Tied for the top spot in the NL Central with Cincinnati coming into today's action. Philadelphia stopped their 6-game losing streak. They got a much-needed win today. They were 10 games below 500. Slowly chopped to short. Hanahan cuts in front, throws him out. Injury report brought to you by Elk & Elk. Serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK, Ohio. Bad news for the Redbirds. Chris Carpenter done.
Oh, yeah, there he goes. 60-day DL.
They began the day 2.5 games behind the Pirates and Reds in the Central in the National League.
Yeah, they were hoping he'd come back towards the end of the year and maybe be a bonus for him, but it doesn't look like it.
Well, he carried them last year, and they were without Wainwright.
Right.
So this year they just kind of flip-flop.
Yeah,
we'll see if Wainwright can pick him up.
Well, I wouldn't doubt it. If he gets back on track, it usually takes a while. That wouldn't surprise me. Let me put it that way. If they get any kind of pitching, they can swing the bats. They might have the best offense in that division.
And meanwhile, Milwaukee's a funny team, hard to figure out. They've won 4 straight. 4 games within the 500 mark and only 6 games out of first. Damon goes down. Did he hold it? No. And it's going to be a single for Mike Trout. His second hit today. A sinking line drive. It looked like Damon tried to go down and snare it before it hit the grass.
Well, this is that one ball that's hit right at you. He had to commit. He sort of holds up on it instead of coming in, and that ball had topspin. And he was going to wait back, and you could see him shaking his head. That ball had some spin. He should have continued to come in on it.
Torrey Hunter 0 for 2 on the day. Runner goes. First pitch. Trout takes off. Throw down. Not in time. Trout's league-leading 23rd stolen base. Normally not advisable when you're down 8 runs in a game.
I mean, there's no reason in that situation just to go out and steal a base. That's all. Stat patter.
Hunter chops it foul. By the way, that Philly 9-2 win over the Mets today, Cliff Lee got his first win of the year. Can you believe that?
July 4th.
4th of July.
You could bet as much as you wanted to bet, and no, I would never, ever think that.
Hit up the middle. Kipnis is there. He'll throw out Hunter, 2 down. The Midwest Beach Soccer Series is back. Former Cleveland Crunch goalie Otto Orff brings this unique 5-on-5 soccer tournament to Headlands Beach in Mentor on July 14th and 15th. It's music, sun, soccer, and fun for the whole family. For all the information, visit handsonsoccer.com. Low ball one to Albert Pujols, who lined one over the bag at third his last time up. And Johnny Damon scampered over, picked it up, fired a seed to second base, and Pujols was erased. Trying to stretch a single into a double. The 1-1 outside. Albert Pujols, a 9-time All-Star, 3 times the MVP in the National League. Swing and a miss and a full count. Now the payoff pitch, fouled away. You know, we obviously pay a lot of attention to Ichiro because we play Seattle a lot in the American League. But since 2001, Pujols actually has a better batting average than Ichiro.
It's hard to believe. And if Ichiro gets the 200 hits every year up until last year. But this guy, you're right, he'll take the walks. You know, when they do pitch to him, he gets his hits. He's just been phenomenal. I mean, over the last, 10 years in St. Louis.
10 straight 100 RBI seasons. Finished with 99 last year.
He's putting up numbers with guys that have never been around for a long time. And that one.
Deep to left. Damon's there. Boy. He makes the catch in the middle of the warning track. Pujols, hands on hips. Can't believe it. He comes up short here in the 5th. And the Indians maintain a 9-1 lead. Either that or they don't want to be recognized. Maybe they're incognito. 9-1 Tribe as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Kochman, Hanahan, Damon due up for the Indians, and Jason Isringhausen coming on for the 30th time this year.
All right, their 3rd veteran.
Yeah.
It's Veterans Day here.
It went from 37 to 39 to another 39-year-old.
Right. Can only get younger from here on in.
I was just thinking, unless they go sign with who is the old closer that they used to torment for the Angels? Troy Percival, unless they go get him out of retirement.
Well, he spent his last years, didn't he, with Tampa Bay, I believe. He went on to Detroit.
Wow, Kochman singles up the middle. And he is scorching the ball today. A 3-run homer his last time up.
Well, that ball, Isringhausen had to get down. I mean, that was smoked as right, a line drive right over his head. I mean, it looks like he went with a low fastball, and see you later. I'm going to get down, too. That's the 9th hit now for the Indians. Kochman, he has been on base all 3 times today. He's 2 for 2. A walk, single, 3-run homer.
Jack Hanahan 0 for 2. He is grounded out, struck out. Out of play. That's popped up, foul, and into the seats. No balls, 2 strikes. Isringhausen ready with the 0-2. And Jack rips it foul.
Oh.
Was that a bare hand grab?
Yes, it was. One hopper. Fans are on their game today.
I'm telling you what, that guy went right over the railing, says, I'll take that.
Yep, they are on their game.
And the 0-2 right up the middle. So the Indians with back-to-back singles to open the 5th. Tell you what, the fans have been on their toes, and they brought their holiday game with them.
Well, that's the second replay of the day, so you know it was a good catch for him, and he knows it. Right out over there. Nice play. This fan here, oh, reaching. That was I thought that was an extension of Kochman's arm.
Like a superhero.
These guys have played well here today in the heat.
Now Johnny Damon 1 for 2, a single and a run scored. Isringhausen, the veteran, knows his job. He's come in here. He's throwing strikes, 7 out of 8. But 2 of them have been put in play for base hits. Damon looks. It's a little bit outside, 1-1. Blue Jays at home against the Royals tonight. Kansas City, 6.5 games off the pace in the Central Division. Fouled back. Minnesota tangling with Detroit. Twins have won 5 in a row. Tigers have dropped 2 straight. And they're 3 games below 500. Here's the 1-2 to Damon. Up high. Verlander pitching tonight for Detroit against Brian Dunsing. Dylan Axelrod going for the White Sox against the Texas Rangers. Scott Feldman getting the start for Texas. The 2-2. Down low and a full count. Lou Marson is next. The 3-2. Bat went flying. Ball comes back towards us. He didn't break the bat. He just lost the handle. And that thing went all the way down past Tom Wiedenbauer, the first base coach, who retrieves the bat for Johnny Damon.
Well, yeah, watch the bat go one way and the ball came right underneath. He just tried to throw it out there. And, you know, sometimes when you get in the heat like this and those batting gloves with the sweat, they can get a little moist. And if you don't have enough of the pine tar, some rosin or something to dry it off, that could happen.
Chopper up the middle. Knocked down by Torres, but he won't have a play anywhere. He was trying to knock it down and flip it all in one motion, but it was just a little bit beyond his reach, so the bases are loaded on the infield single.
That was basically, it was placed perfectly by Damon. So he's going to try and grab it and flip it with the backhand, but he bobbles it. It hits the ground. He still tries to flip it after it hits the ground. He hits it high in the air. So that'll go as an infield single. They'll have the bases loaded and nobody out.
Indians had 3 straight hits to open the second inning of this game, and that's when they erupted for 6 runs. This is pretty much unfolding as a worst-case scenario for Mike Scioscia. His starter got bombed in the second inning and knocked out. And now his 4th reliever of the game as the bases loaded and nobody out here in the 5th.
Well, it's going to be one of those games where I think he's going to get his starters out of here in a hurry. If they do any more damage here, you know, give them a rest. They got a long flight back and they play tomorrow at home. I think they get Baltimore. Yeah, they're playing Baltimore for a 4-game series going into the break.
Yeah, Baltimore's out in Seattle right now. Now the 2-0. Out of play. Marson singled and scored in the second, called out on strikes back in the third. And fouled away again. No great play that time. There were hands over heads, ducking, get out of the way.
Yeah, they were hide.
A 2-2 pitch to Lou Marson. And a base hit to right field. Kochman will score. Hanahan stops at third. Bases still loaded. 10-1 Tribe. 4 straight hits to open the inning. Now, Casey Kochman blistered his ball, but the next 3 hits have all just sort of been well placed.
Yeah. And, well, you know what? Right there, Esringhausen says, I don't care if they're well placed. They got to find somebody. He makes a decent pitch down and away, and Lou just stayed on it and serves it to right. He had 2 strikes, so that he gives in, and he has that approach a lot. So everybody moves up a base. They get into double digits. It's a 10-1 ball game. And back to the top of the lineup. Chu already hitting for the 4th time today, and this is only the 5th inning.
1 for 3, an RBI double and a run scored, and a swing and a miss. And that's outside, 1-1. Indians cleaning up today. When they've had guys on base, they've brought them home. They haven't wasted many opportunities. They've only left 2 men on base in the game so far. And the pitch is down low. 2-1 to count for Chu now. Isringhausen delivers, and Chu with a grounder to second. Isturiz to Ibar on the first, a double play. The run scores, it's now 11-1, and there are 2 down in the inning. Game recap brought to you by your Northern Ohio Toyota dealers. In the first, Michael Brantley with a 2-out, 3-run homer. And then in the second inning, it was Casey Kochman with a 2-out, 3-run homer. The Indians have been rolling ever since. Find out about more than 30 Toyota offers available now at buyatoyota.com. Cabrera hits one high in the air, deep left. Trumbo got turned around, racing back, can't get it. He lost track of it, hits the wall and rolls back toward the infield. Damon scores easily. Cabrera with his second hit of the game, his 20th double of the year, and his 42nd RBI. 12-1 Cleveland.
Well, that's a ball that, I mean, it's going the other way, and he got turned around. And once he did, he lost it. He thought it was going to come back to him, and that ball, that was down and away. I don't know if he picked it up well off the bat, but once he turns around and realizes it's over his head, he lost it. Not that he was going to catch that ball anyway because it went off the wall, but they get another 2-out RBI by Cabrera.
And pitch up high, ball 1 to Jason Kipnis. He has walked, singled, driven in a run, and scored twice. Gives him 4 runs scored in the series. Tampa Bay has gone in front of New York 3-1. They're in the 8th inning. And St. Pete. And now the 1-1 to Kipnis. That's hit pretty well. Deep center field. Trout back. Still going back on the track. Makes the catch to end the inning. The Indians tack on 3 more. And through 5, they now lead it 12-1.
Inning. This is Dylan. He is today's $25 Indians Fun Money winner for sitting up here in the Subway Extreme Fan Zone. Dylan, how's the view from up here?
Oh, the view's great. You get to see the whole field and everything. It's awesome.
You get to soak in all the sunshine today.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting my tan on today.
Absolutely. You can be a Fun Money winner, too. All you have to do is buy seats for the next home game to sit in the Subway Extreme Fan Zone. Subway, where winners eat. Matt, Rick, we'll send it back over to you guys.
All right, thanks, Katie. 6th inning. 12-1 Indians. The only defensive change so far, Aaron Cunningham has taken over for Shin-Soo Choo in right field. Derek Lowe delivers and a line drive into right center field, a base hit. Cunningham tries to cut it off. Morales is going to stop with a leadoff single. His second hit of the game. Mark Trumbo is 2 for 2 today. A couple of singles. Derek Lowe making his final start before the All-Star break. Pitch inside, ball one. Indians will have 4 days off this year for the All-Star break, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then they'll open up out of the break Friday in Toronto.
Yep, Toronto-Tampa Bay series. We always make that trip. It seems like they're connected every year.
Yeah.
You know, Toronto-Tampa Bay. It's all the same.
Geographically speaking, it's such an easy trip.
Oh, sure it is. We'll just tie that one up. 4 in Tampa Bay, so they come here before the break for 4, and we will play 4 down there after Toronto.
Same thing this year with Baltimore. Play the Orioles 4 times in Baltimore, and they'll come here 4 times this summer. Mark Trumbo has a 3-hit game. 3 for 3. And Kendry Morales went first to third on that soft blooper into right center. Going to bring up Alberto Callaspo. Carlos Pena hit a 2-run homer off Boone Logan out of the Yankee bullpen to give the Rays a 3-1 lead. They're in the 8th inning now down in St. Pete. High and deep but fouled on the right side for Alberto Callaspo, who hit into a fielder's choice in the 2nd inning and had a single in the 4th. Callaspo 4 hits in the series. Eric Ibar also 4 hits in the series. But the Indians have kept Torrey Hunter quiet. He's 1 for 11. Pujols has 3 hits. One of those was a home run, but for the most part, other than a solo dinger, they've held him pretty much in check. So if you're going to beat the Angels, you've got to keep the big guys quiet.
Well, and they've been scoring a lot of runs. That's the one thing. Offensively, they've been swinging it very well as pitching. They've had a good combination going. On the road, they played very well. But they still have a team in front of them, the Texas Rangers, that, there's still a 5-game lead there. They have 12 games left against the Rangers before it's all said and done.
2-2. Outside, full count.
After the All-Star break is when teams, seem to start making their moves, and then that's when you really start grinding it out.
Yeah.
Teams start falling to the wayside a little bit, and your elite teams are going to start to move.
3-2 is hit high in the air. Center field. Brantley is there. That'll get a run home as Morales tags and scores from third. 1 away as Callaspo gets his 25th RBI. Well, you come out of the All-Star break, and you got a couple of weeks from that point to the trading deadline, so I'm sure we'll see some activity this year. Could be one of those deals because of the number of teams that are either on the periphery of being in the hunt and out of it. You might see this thing go right down to the wire. It might be a flurry of activity in the last couple of days leading up to it.
Well, we will find out. We'll see this month.
Driven into right center field. That's a gapper. Brantley will cut it off. On his way to second base and then sliding safely is Eric Ibar with his first hit today, his 5th hit in the series.
Well, speed got him that double. put a good swing on it, and he continued to run all the way. Even though they're down by 10 runs, I think deep down inside he knew he could make it to second base. He runs, he kicks it in gear. He knows Brantley's got to get over there. And, boy, by the time he kicks it in gear, it's nice to have a second gear. Because he hits and he says, here I go. Put your head down, and I'm getting in there. Slides in safely.
Nick Hagedorn getting up in the Indians' bullpen as Scott Radinsky goes out to talk with Derek Lowe, who's at 88 pitches on the afternoon. All right, time now to have another look at the AT&T trivia question today, paying tribute to one of the Indians' greatest players of all time and a truly great American. Bob Feller, December 9th.
Yes, indeed.
2 days later, man, he was first in line, said,
he couldn't
sign
wait.
me up.
We've heard this story many times, and what a great American he was.
Well, it was Bob who many times when people referred to him as a war hero, he said, no, don't call me a hero. The heroes didn't come home.
Yep.
Scoring is Trumbo. Ibar will stop at third. And as Torres picks up the 4th hit of the inning for the Angels. And I don't know if Derek Lowe's just plumb out of gas. But they're getting to him here in the 6th inning.
Well, I could see why. I mean, it's a hot day. He's at 90 pitches. He hung in there, and it was nice that he got the runs early. But, yeah, it's time for somebody else to get in there. I'm surprised I still see Cabrera in this game and Kipnis, to be honest with you. Those guys have grinded it out every day, every inning. They could use a day, half a game off.
Chop foul. Well, with this being a late afternoon start with a night game tomorrow, this would be a good time. You get a few extra hours off your feet. Now, Manny might be waiting to get through this inning for Derek Lowe's sake before he takes those guys out. I don't know. We'll wait and see. Chop to short. Cabrera to Kipnis on to first. Double play ends the inning. Angels get a pair. We go to the bottom of the 6th. 12-3 Cleveland. As promised earlier in the ball game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Independence Day here in America, and so many years, especially for Indians fans, it's involved coming to a ball game here in Cleveland. 70 times the Indians have been home on the 4th of July, more than any other team in the history of baseball.
Well, I know people are glad they came to this one today. A lot of offense early.
And the Indians are trying to run their record to 60-41 in those home games on the 4th of July. David Carpenter now on the pitch for the Angels, and a whole host of changes defensively to tell you about when we get a second. But Carpenter on for the 22nd time this year, after Jason Isringhausen worked an inning and gave up 3 runs.
Turning into one of those spring training games where you're going to use everybody you can.
Travis Hafner has walked, singled, scored a run. He's also popped up on the infield. The only 2 starters defensively still in the same spots for the Angels, I believe, are Alberto Callaspo and Myceres Torres, the third baseman and the second baseman. Everybody else is either moved or been replaced. Here's how they look now.
Oh, boy.
Trout, Borges, Trumbo in the outfield. Callaspo, Romine, is Torres, Wilson, and then Hester in behind the plate now. So you're right, Rick. It really has taken on the look of one of those spring training games in Goodyear.
We got to
Cactus League action.
Yeah, we got to look for Tommy. We need a lot more colors in our Cran book now with all these players. Look back up there. He's got 6 of them, man.
He was apoplectic in between innings with that, between the binoculars and the walkie-talkie.
He looked like an explorer on a ship.
Dora the
Explorer. Coming to port. No, not Dora. Magellan.
Three and 1 the count for Hafner. And David Carpenter delivers, and it's ball 4. So Hafner walked for the second time today.
Well, you buy your tickets early and save on the seats for the fireworks. That'll be this Friday. They had them last night. They're also going to have them Friday night. Celebrate against the Tampa Bay Rays as they head into the All-Star break. It'll be a 7:05 game. It'll be set to Superheroes music after the game. So log on to Indians.com. For that matchup on Friday, it'll be Masterson and Alex Cobb.
And Michael Brantley takes a strike. He is 1 for 3 on the day. A 3-run homer his first time up. Slow chopper to first. Wilson spins and throws to second for 1. The return throw not in time. 1 away. You know, in baseball, we always talk about the first half of the season and then what you do in the second half. And that's, in baseball, that's always determined by the All-Star break. But officially, as far as games played go, this is the halfway mark for the Indians. This is their 81st game of the season. And just based solely on that, Rick, you look at a guy like Brantley, who's on pace for an 80 RBI season, which is pretty impressive for a guy that, you know, when you started the year, you were thinking about
leading them off,
probably being your leadoff hitter.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you have to finish. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see Michael finish the second half of the year, be the first year he's played all year long from start to finish. I mean, and this is hoping everybody stays healthy, unlike last year. That was their problem. So this is the step they're going to have to make.
Double play ball to second, except it's booted by Torres. He'll to get the out at first, 2 down. Well, along those same lines, Rick, Jason Kipnis, he's on pace for a 96 RBI season.
I mean, when you look at it, I mean, the Indians, they're looking to be 3 games over the 500 mark. You know, 42 wins. You know, if they can get hot, if things can click into play for the second half, no telling. That doesn't look like anybody's going to run away with it, at least in the Central Division. You know, stay around it, and anything can happen, boys. I mean, the Indians can get hot. You start scoring runs, there's no telling.
If Travis Hafner can be productive and they can make at least one offensive move externally to help this club, then you're right.
You know what here's the way I look at it. I don't look at it as for the moves. You don't look outside the box. These guys that are playing in uniform right now have to take it upon themselves to be better. You know, finish the All-Star break, finish this week out strong. You've got Tampa for 4, and it's going to be a tough series. And then from there, you get 3 or 4 days off. You got to reprogram. You get rejuvenated. You recharge your batteries, and let's go. You start playing some baseball. You're going to have a tough break out of it with Toronto and Tampa. But you don't worry about what they may get or what they don't. You have to do it on your own. If they add a piece to the puzzle, then fine. Hopefully they fit in. If they don't, you got to go on your own and play.
Well, that's true. I mean, you can't.
I mean, as a player, you got to look like that.
You can't hope for a trade because if it doesn't happen, then you're going to be let down.
And if you hope for a trade, who knows? It could be a trade for you.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You, as a player, you go out there and just play the game and play as hard as you can and be the best player you can be. If Chris Antonetti and the Indians give him any strength or any bat or any pitcher or whoever they can get, hopefully the guy fits in. If they don't, you're on your own. You got to play the rest of the year and win. He said a number of times before, the players we have here, they believe in them. They're going to have to do a better job.
Hanahan taps it back to the mound. And we'll go to the 7th. 12-3 Cleveland.
July 22nd, it will be the last jersey giveaway of the season. The first 15,000 fans through the gates will take home this Charlie Nagy jersey. Looks pretty good to me. Courtesy of First Energy Solutions. You can log on to Indians.com to get your tickets for that right now, July 22nd, once again. And while you're there, make sure to check out season tickets. We still have great seats available. You can get the best prices on those seats over single game prices. It's all online at Indians.com. Matt, Rick, we'll send it back up to you guys.
All right, thanks, Katie. 6 innings for Derek Lowe here this afternoon. And he'll turn it over to the Indians bullpen with a 9-run lead.
Well, Nick Hagedorn, he could use some innings to come in here and try and get straightened out a little bit. He has been scuffling. Donald goes into the ball game at shortstop.
Mike Trout, top of the order for the Angels. 2 for 3 today, 2 singles, 4 hits in the series. And his league-leading batting average up to .344. His mom said the other day, 6 months ago, Mike was living at home and they were plotting out his future and what might happen to him. And now he's in the dugout talking to Albert Pujols. And he said for the parents, it's been a surreal experience.
It is
what
for
he's
him,
gone
too.
through.
I'm sure it is for him. His job, he knows one thing. I know how to play baseball. And I'm going to go do it the best way I know how. And he's fit in beautifully. You can't do it much better than the way he's played the short time he has been here.
Grew up in New Jersey, and recently after a game, he got to go home and spend the night with Mom and Dad. And at that point, he had just, I think, moved into the league lead for the batting average. As a swing and a miss evens account of 2-2, and somebody asked him something about what are you going to do, and his dad told him, I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to go get a good night's rest. Basically told his kid to go to bed.
He made that play in Baltimore.
Unbelievable catch.
That's right before we got there. That was, I think, the day before we got there. Took a home run away. Well, he's got a lot to learn, I'm sure. He stole a base at 9-1, no big deal. He's going to learn that you don't run in situations, but this kid has the talent, and he gave this team a spark when he was up, and they're feeding off him. They got some good young players. Mark Trumbo's very good too. You mix Pujols in there. This is going to be a team to be reckoned with. It was Vernon Wells that was starting the year out, and then, he injured himself. They got him out of there, and they owed him a lot of money, but it's the young kids that have taken over, and Borges, a guy with speed. I would think they would put him on the trade block with this guy.
Well, Trout strikes out here to start the 7th inning. Good pitch by Nick Hagedorn. And the big left-hander records a punch-out to start the inning.
Yeah, that's what you want to see. You want to see Nick Hagedorn throwing his fastball around the strike zone for strikes. And I want to see him mix in a few sliders that he can throw for strikes. It seems like a lot recently he hasn't been able to command that slider and throw it. And then anytime he's had to go to a pitch, it has been the fastball, and it's been getting too much of the plate.
Peter Borges, his first at-bat of the game.
This is another young Angels player that can fly, that can run very well. He can play center field. Last year, he was the first Angel ever to collect 25 doubles, 10 triples, 10 homers, and 20 stolen bases in a season.
And 1 year later, people are wondering, what, this guy doesn't fit anymore.
Right.
That's the beauty of pro sports,
well,
man.
and because Trumbo now, because you signed Pujols, and Trumbo's got to go to the outfield, and there's 29 home runs.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it, they have had to make some changes over there and move around. They thought Trumbo was going to be able to play third base. He doesn't really fit into that position.
It's one of those what you call a good problem to have.
Well, it is. Yes, it is.
But you also don't want to make the wrong decision. You don't want to end up, saying, well, Borges can't help us, and you get rid of him, and then he goes on to be a star somewhere else.
That is true.
You want to make sure that whoever you go with, it's the right guy.
Yeah. You have to make decisions, though, and these guys have to play every day.
Borges draws a walk, 1 on, 1 out. Well, with gas prices these days, how about a $100 gas card courtesy of your Northeast Ohio Shell retailer and True North convenience stores? All you have to do is log on to stohd.com and enter for a chance to win. One new winner will be picked each week now until September the 26th.
It's about the last week of the season, isn't it? Because we end on the 3rd, so after the 26th, then there'll be 1 week left.
Yeah, with the new format, we end on Wednesdays now instead of on the
And we
Sunday.
started a week later
Yep.
this year. And I would think next year we'll start earlier, won't we? Because of that World Baseball Federation.
Yeah, with the World Baseball Classic, I don't know how that works.
I know we started spring training a lot earlier.
A lot earlier.
I just thought the baseball season would probably start earlier.
A little bit outside. Line to right field. Cunningham coming on. Dives. Can't make the catch. And it will be a base hit.
Well, good attempt. Came in there and he was straight out. Nothing you could do. He had a good jump on the ball. And he comes in and you're going to see it just short hops into his glove and he couldn't hold on to it. See that? I mean, you're talking a matter of about 5 or 6 inches if he can get that glove out and down. Couldn't do it, but good effort. Goes as a single. That's 12 hits now for the Angels.
Pitch is in there for a strike. This year, we started the season on April the 5th. And just looking at the calendar for next year, unless we start in March, we'll probably start on April 4th or 5th again.
We started in March 31st. I think the last year they had that baseball classic. I think it was the last day of March. But, with the schedule next year, you've got Houston coming in the American League. You're going to have 15 teams in each league. I don't know if that's going to change the scheduling at all. I guess to be determined.
2 on, 1 out here in the 7th. An 0-2 count on Kendry Morales. And a high pop out of play down the right side. (12-3) Indians. They blew this game open early. Tribe scored 3 in the first on a 3-run homer with 2 outs by Michael Brantley. And then Casey Kochman hit a 2-out 3-run homer to cap a 6-run second inning. And it was 9-1 after 2 innings. And the 0-2 hit the left. Damon on the move. Makes the running catch. 2 down as the runners retreat to their bases. And it's going to bring up Mark Trumbo. The pitch, and Trumbo with a bouncing ball to short. Jason Donald goes to second for the inning-ending force. So it's a 12-3 Indians lead as we reach the 7th inning stretch here this afternoon on this 4th of July. Hope wherever you're watching today, you're enjoying your holiday. Be safe tonight. Have a great time. And right now we are going to pause for the playing of God Bless America. The incomparable Kate Smith with the playing of God Bless America. Seventh inning stretch brought to you by the Cleveland Clinic. Join the free walking program. Let's Move It. Mondays at Progressive Field and the Metro Park Zoo. Visit letsmoveit.org for more information. Here at Progressive Field, and we give you a look in from our Panini's camera. Stop by and get overstuffed at Panini's Bar and Grill. In-game box score brought to you by your Northern Ohio Hyundai dealers. Visit NorthernOhioHyundaiDealers.com and check out the all-new 2012 Sonata. Everybody in on the act today for the Tribe. The big three-run homers by Brantley and Kochman. But it's been a good day offensively as they jumped on Irvin Santana, the Angels starter, for 8 runs on 6 hits in an inning and a third. And it's been a bullpen game ever since for the Halos. David Carpenter worked a scoreless 6th, and he stays on here for the bottom of the 7th. Down low. 2 balls, no strikes. Taken all the way, it's 3-1. And a 3-1 offering now from Carpenter. And Johnny
Back
Damon with a line drive base hit to center. His 3rd hit of the game.
His 3rd hit and the Indians' 14th hit this afternoon. They have a dozen runs on the board.
Lou Marson, 2 for 3. And a swing and a miss. Lou has singled twice, driven in a run, scored 1.
Lou gets a base hit here. I don't want to say much, but he'd get up over the 300 mark if he gets a base hit here. Captain Heat.
Well, I tell you, I mean, we outlined it earlier. He only had 9 bats in the month of April. He was 1 for 9. And then he was 4 for 25 in May. So he was sitting at 5 for 34 to start the year. And every time he went up to bat, he had to look at those numbers and go, oh, geez.
Yeah, I mean, that's.
As you said, he's below the interstate, you know. But he's.
You get a little confidence, and he's played, and he's worked hard to get it back there. And his playing time is still limited, but he's doing everything he can. Had a great weekend last weekend in Baltimore.
2-2 the count. Well, Santana, when he went on the DL with that 7-day thing with the concussion, that's when Marson, he just took off. He said, you know what? I'm going to get some chances to play every day. Let's make the most of it, and he did. Double play ball to short, 6, 4, and 3. Well, the Indians with the big 3-run homer today, and every time the Tribe homers, Rick and I each make a $5 donation to the Gathering Place, while Great Clips donates $50. And our season total now $4,320. Great needs, great deeds, Great Clips. With 2 down, Aaron Cunningham, his first at bat of the day. And he drills one into left center field. That's a gapper and all the way to the wall. And Cunningham pulls into second base with a 2-out double.
Well, he says everybody else is getting a hit. I got to join this parade. I'm not going to be held out. I don't care if it's my first at bat or not. Smoke the ball in the left center field. He picks on a little low fastball. It was middle of the plate. Looked like a 2-seamer. So Cunningham joins the parade.
And Jason Donald, like Cunningham, getting an AB here. And he chops one to third. Backhanded by Callaspo. Long throw on the money. Beautiful throw. Ends the inning. We go to the 8th. Still 12-3 Cleveland.
The Cleveland Indians.
(12-3) in favor of the Indians as we go to the 8th inning. Tony Sipp coming on to pitch now for the Tribe. After Nick Hagedorn worked a scoreless inning. Jose Lopez takes over for Jason Kipnis at second base. And Alberto Callaspo looks at a slider for a strike. Down low. Popped him up. Over near the line. Cunningham, long run. He's there. He's got it. One away. Back to the Hyundai Studios once again for an in-game update with Al.
Matt, the tide has turned down in Florida. Tampa Bay was cruising 3-1 behind David Price into the 8th inning, but then they went to their bullpen, and the Yankees score 3 in the 8th. A 2-run single by Robinson Cano has been the difference. It's now 4-3 New York. They're in the 9th inning at the Trop. Matt?
All right, thanks, Al. So the Tampa Bay bullpen caving in late today against the Yankees.
Well, I guess Farnsworth came in and walked about 4 guys.
That'll do it.
You don't give those guys any extra base runners. But you're right. The base on ball.
John Hester's first at bat today. That 4-game series coming up here between the Indians and the Rays. You talked about David Price pitching today, so we don't have to face him.
That's a break.
But you'll see Jeremy Hellickson, then Alex Cobb, then the left-hander Matt Moore, and then James Shields to wrap it up against Tomlin, Masterson, Jimenez, and McAllister. Sip with a 2-2. And a full count. Strikes him out, 1 away, or 2 down now here in the 8th. Gets his first strikeout.
He's going to go right with his fastball. Right on the outside edge and gets Esser to swing through it. There have only been 3 strikeouts by Indians pitchers today. As I said, the Angels have 12 hits. But only 1 extra base hit, 1 double and 11 singles. Of course, Lowe was able to get 2 ground ball double plays. Something he's been very good at all year.
Popped him up in the shallow right. Aaron Cunningham comes in. He'll make the catch, and the Angels go 1-2-3. We go to the last half of the 8th. All Tribe this afternoon.
Look at that. It is.
It's been a hot one down here at the ballpark, but the Indians jumping on the Angels. I mean, they just took them out of it early with 9 runs in the first 2 innings. So the crowd, they were into it early and enjoying it, but for the rest of the game, they've just kind of been able to sit back and relax.
Well, and there, a lot of people have left. That's like coming out in the first round of a fight and just knocking the guy down and almost, co-cocking him. Boom, there he goes. They did it early. 3 runs, and then the 6-run second really did it.
Yeah, they sent Santana to the showers with only 1 out in the second inning. That's Irvin Santana, for those of you who may have joined us late. The Angels starter who is on the hook for his 8th career loss against the Indians, against 1 victory. Jose Lopez, first at-bat of this game.
Well, here's a guy I thought I'd see him in the lineup today, the way he's been swinging the bat. Had 3 hits yesterday. He's been swinging it very well, but with Hafner coming back, he put him in the number 4 hole. And Lopez was started on the bench.
Well, that's the one thing about Manny Acta this year when it comes to the Indians' offense. He's had to be creative. He's had to be able to make some changes and make some adjustments. But he's had the Midas touch on a number of different decisions that he's made.
Well, I mean, yeah, you've got to try whatever you can. The thing he's hoping for is consistency, for goodness sakes, and that's the one thing you look for. Give me a solid 4 runs a game if you can, and we'll try and work around that.
Yeah, it's not like he's trying to decide who do I bat 3rd and 4th, Gehrig or Ruth. And, he's had to say, well, let's take Chu out of the middle of the order and bump him up the leadoff. Take our leadoff guy and drop him down in the order.
Well, Kipnis goes into number 3, and a lot of these things have worked out for the better.
Now, speaking of Lou Gehrig, it was on this date in 1939 that he gave his famous farewell speech at Yankee Stadium. Who will ever forget it?
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth. When you look around, wouldn't you consider it privilege to associate yourself with such a fine-looking man as is standing in uniform in this ballpark today?
Now, it's just you look back and the history of the game, and there's a name, Lou Gehrig, that just resonates for those who are still around, who saw him play, that remember him, for those of us who grew up and only know him from the movie and the old archive footage. But he is, just such a key, integral part of the history and the fabric of the game of baseball, and continues to be so. Really the kind of the standard bearer for toughness and gutting it out.
And playing every day. And, just all we do is hear the stories told from people that were before us. And from what you see or heard, would have been fun to watch a few ball games back in that era, huh?
Well, that was what was so neat and such a privilege for those of us who were around Bob Feller all those years, to sit and talk to him and hear the stories of the guys we only read about and saw movies of that he actually knew and faced and dealt with in his career. pitch now for the Indians. As the Indians try to win for the 5th time in their last 7 games and win back-to-back series. Close the gap to a game and a half on Chicago. And if they get a little help from the Rangers tonight, could be only a game out come tomorrow at this time. Bobby Wilson looks at ball 1 inside. Driven deep down the right side into the corner, and it slices foul.
That ball slicing away. Cunningham trying to get over there. We lost track of him by a couple of feet. Just foul.
The pitch, and it's low to Bobby Wilson, and the count 2-1. Milwaukee clinging to a 6-5 lead over Miami in the 9th. Another crushing loss for the Marlins last night. Heath Bell blew another save as Jason Donald throws out Bobby Wilson one down, and afterwards Ozzie Guillen blew up. But I think he very strategically did not point the finger at Bell. He blew up everybody else because I think they gave up 11 or 12 runs.
Yeah, it was one of those games.
He said, what about the other guys that gave up runs, and what about how bad we played on defense? But they've got to do something. They're back into their bullpens, killing them.
Well, we've witnessed it, we've seen it. When you don't have one that's inconsistent, it can do wonders. I mean, it can tear a team apart, really.
Yeah, you're right.
It can tear you down.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have an automatic bullpen in games where you win, it gives you just a different outlook and a perspective. If you can get the lead when you're winning, boom. I mean, that's what the Indians have when they have the lead. When you get that feeling, it's a really good feeling. When you don't have it, you're thinking out there, oh my goodness, now what's going to happen? You wait for something bad to happen.
Yeah, and that's the problem is once a ball bloops in or a play isn't made in the field, all of a sudden everybody starts tightening up.
Yeah.
And they clench up, and they're like, uh-oh.
You feel it.
1-1 pitch. Mike Trout has gone 2 for 4 in the series. 2 for 4 today. 4 for 9 in the series.
See, that's
Is that Joe Smith wearing the garb now?
Yeah, they're having a little fun. Why not?
If you can't have fun in a 12-3 game, then you just can't have fun at all.
Well, that's right. Not many times can you go out and afford to enjoy it. Have what they call a laugher.
Yeah.
And this is what it is. It's been a laugher. And they've struggled so far this year on rubber games. We gave you the numbers, what they were looking for.
And so many times they win the first game.
Right.
And then can't close out to get the win in the series.
It's been reversed in this series. Weaver comes out and shuts them out, and they come back and win the next 2 games.
Mike Trout gets a walk. So a 1-out base runner. Stay tuned after the ballgame for the Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care post-game show. We'll have the highlights. Won't have any fireworks for you.
No, we saw those last night.
But we will look forward to a big 4-gamer with the Tampa Bay Rays that will start tomorrow night right here on STO. Peter Borges taps one to short. Donald steps on the bag, goes to first. Game-ending double play. The Indians do indeed hang on for the victory. And they win for the 5th time in their last 7